Welcome back. This is the third session in this course on managing intrusive thoughts. I'm Dr. Traci Moreno. In the last session, we talked about how to differentiate between your intuition and the ego. Once you can differentiate between the two, then the question becomes, which one do we choose to listen to? That's what we'll discuss in this session. It might sound like a no-brainer to choose the path of our intuition. However, remember that choosing what's best for us is oftentimes much more difficult. It could mean choosing to exercise over sleep, or break up with somebody, find a new job, move to a new city, take the high road. If doing what we know is best for us was so easy, we would all be wonderful and free of problems. But remember, our ego demands comfort over change, even when that so-called comfort is wrong for us or even toxic. When I use the word comfort, it just means that we find comfort in what we know. This is why we can stay in situations much longer than we know we should, because the change and the fear of the unknown is even scarier to the ego. With that said, the ego isn't all bad. It does serve to protect us. It's just that most of the time it's a little too overprotective. Ironically, even though it's the ego that comes from a place of fear, it's sometimes more scary to follow our intuition. Our intuition may tell us to get divorced or quit our job. If it seems too difficult or overwhelming to follow your intuition, allow your intuition and your ego to work together to make a more calculated risk so that you can help the ego be less scared, which will make your decision much easier. We don't have to completely ignore the ego. We can listen, but with the awareness of its fear-based warnings. Listen to what the ego is telling you. Maybe you go to couples counseling or consult with an attorney before making the decision to divorce. Maybe you save money or have another job in place before you quit your current job. Or the ego might just need more research or more information before making a big change. After all, because the ego comes from fear of the unknown, the more that we can make known, the less scary the change will be. This is why knowledge is power. Finding a balance between our intuition and ego is like finding the balance between being a spiritual being and living a human existence. That's the goal. If your intuition and ego are telling you the same thing, then you know exactly what to do. The only difference would be the intention behind the decision. For example, our intuition could tell us to work out to be healthy, feel good, and raise our vibrations. But our ego could tell us to work out because summer is coming and we need to get our bikini body ready to impress. Our intuition could tell us to apply for that promotion because we're ready. Our ego could tell us to apply for that promotion because we're the best candidate. We've earned it. We deserve it. Our intuition could tell us there's a better partner out there for us. Our ego could tell us that we need to leave the relationship because they don't deserve us. We're better than them, and I'm better off without them. Even though your intuition and ego are giving you the same message, it's important that our intuition is ultimately driving the decision. We may need our ego at times to build up the guts to do something or find the strength or encouragement, but ultimately follow the intention of your intuition. This will lead you to a positive outcome and better karma. Remember the law of attraction. Positivity attracts positivity, and negativity attracts negativity. Simple. Our ego also has a way of camouflaging itself. it can sometimes disguise itself to sound like our intuition. For example, some common statements people say when considering a breakup or divorce is, "But I love them. I know they love me. They can change. I believe in them. I made a commitment and I must honor that commitment." People often perceive this as coming from their heart or their intuition. This is when we must challenge ourselves and ask if it is real love or if it's instead real fear. Fear of leaving. Fear of not knowing if there's somebody out there better for us. When will I find them? How long will I be alone? Fear of regretting our decision. Fear of making the wrong decision. But love is not fear. Challenge yourself to dig deeper within to uncover why you would stay and why you would leave. "But I love them" does not override all the pain they may have caused you or all the bad things they may have done to you. This is not love. This is fear. There's no but in love. Now, even when we're able to differentiate our intuition from the ego, we may still side with the ego. That's okay too. The key is making the decision consciously and willing. Then we're not a victim to our thoughts or the ego. Then we can say to ourselves, "I understand this is probably not the right relationship for me, but I need to play this out. And even if I get hurt, I need to know for sure." This way, we take control of our life and take full responsibility for our actions. This way, we make decisions from a place of love, not fear, and with good intentions. Decisions can be made rationally and with a connected and sound mind, body, and spirit. No one else can be to blame for those decisions but you. And this is what it's all about, not being a victim to our thoughts. Whenever I hear that people have certain themes that repeatedly play out in their life, it's a signal to me that they may be ignoring their intuition and not on the right path to live their soul's purpose. Some examples of this is when people are repeatedly and throughout their lives maybe taken advantage of, cheated on, abused, grieving the loss of loved ones consistently, experiencing neglect or abandonment, or any patterns of loss and suffering. I believe these patterns of pain are life lessons being ignored. The lesson is not in the act itself, nor in the pain, but in our journey for growth, healing, and the ability to maintain love, kindness, compassion, even in the face of tragedy. These divine lessons are vital to our spiritual growth and our spiritual journey, which is on a much broader scale that makes up all of our lives. The question is not, do you choose to accept this mission? Because you already have. We not only accepted the mission in our spiritual form before we were born into our human existence, we also selected the players, our nemesis, our little souls in the sun, if you will. If you're not familiar with that short story called Little Soul in the Sun, I highly recommend reading it. And I have an audio version available on my Insight Timer profile if you're interested. This pattern of pain is all part of our soul contract to learn lessons of divinity, such as forgiveness, trust, honor, honesty, faith, I also believe that the universe has a way of upping the ante. When we ignore our intuition, the universe sends us challenges that will hopefully put us on the right path. Every time we continue to ignore it, the universe will give us an even harder challenge. Eventually, the challenges will turn into struggles, which will end up forcing us to make the decision our intuition has been pushing us to for however long. I'll give you an example. We could be working at a job we hate. It could be stressful, demanding. It could take up all of our time, attention, and energy, leaving hardly anything left for our true priorities in life, like maybe our loved ones, our passions, hobbies, charitable causes, or other interests. But we refuse to leave for one reason or another. Usually it's for money, power, control, fear, to maintain a certain lifestyle, or some other ego-driven reason. Yet year after year, the job gets harder, and it takes us further away from the core of who we are. We get a new supervisor who is worse than the last one. We get passed over for promotion. Requested time off is denied. Our workload has doubled while our pay has not. And every time we find a way to get everything done, management just keeps giving us more. Year after year, our anger and resentment grows, while our tolerance and patience dwindles. But we still don't quit. We don't even look for other opportunities, because every time our intuition tells us to, our ego reminds us why not to. Then one day, we get laid off, fired, or forced to resign. In that moment, this could feel like the worst thing that could happen to us. We can feel less than, not good enough, even ashamed or embarrassed. It can feel like the universe betrayed us, never realizing that the universe just saved our life. Look for the blessings in disguise, the silver lining of a rain cloud, and trust. If we would have listened to our intuition and recognized all the earlier signs telling us to leave, the situation would have never gotten that bad. It may seem harder in the moment to follow our intuition. However, in the long run, it can often be even more devastating to ignore it. The universe is going to put us on the right path one way or another, voluntarily or involuntarily. Life can become much easier when we are connected to our intuition and be open and aware of where the universe is taking us. For your therapy homework, I want you to engage in activities that raise your vibrations and strengthens your intuition. Strengthening your intuition will allow you to hear it and feel it more clearly. These activities include listening to music, singing, dancing, and any other form of body movement, stretching, yoga, walking, running, any type of exercise. Just move your body and put it in motion. Meditation is one of the best ways to strengthen our intuition because it teaches us how to quiet the mind, which is the ego. A daily meditation practice of just 5 minutes a day is incredibly helpful in being able to control our intrusive thoughts. You really have to see it to believe it, but a regular meditation practice can be life-changing. Other vibrating activities would be being positive and optimistic, being outside in nature, being around animals, praying, manifesting, intention setting, talking to our angels, our spirit guides, our higher self or higher power. I want you to pick at least one of these activities to practice every day for your therapy homework. Please ask questions, share your experience, and offer support to other participants in the course classroom. Good luck.